The only thing I follow in baseball is actively hating the Astros.
Hey, you won
John.
your World Series already.
Stick talk. 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 Stick talk.
And hockey.
Hockey.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 78 of Stick Talk Hockey. Every day we're inching closer to 100. Isn't that crazy?
Truly.
It's unbelievable. I can't even believe we're about to hit 80 dang episodes of this show. When
we started, did you think we'd hit 100?
Honestly, I had no idea.
I didn't either.
Craziness. They say that like 90% of podcasts don't make it past 20.
That's crazy.
And here we are with another week and another show just for y'all.
Proud. And so proud of all y'all for sticking around through our bozo takes.
Yeah, 100%. So last week here before the regular season kicks off, kind of a weird one because technically the regular season kicked off Friday morning.
Yeah, at like 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m. Pacific, yeah. Couple games. I mean, hey, look, I got no complaints about that.
I really enjoyed it.
It was nice to have some regular season hockey and a decent matchup between those two.
Gave me something to do at work. It was so slow.
Yeah, beautiful stuff, right?
Oh, it was fantastic.
But season doesn't really get started until, the day this episode is going to drop, Tuesday.
God, I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
After that little taste of the action in Prague. You see that save Markstrom made?
Oh, did I? Yeah.
God.
Immediate save of the year candidate. Yeah.
Quality.
He came out the gate looking ready.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
Paul Cotter leads the Devils in points right now.
Well,
it's juicy.
We'll see how that goes.
That's my boy.
I want to get in a little bit to a segment based on this whole Swayman thing. Because Swayman's been a bit of a disaster so far in Boston over the last few weeks. I mean, not Swayman himself, but the whole deal that's been going on here where he hasn't signed. They traded away Allmark. Sweeney comes out and says we gave him 64 million reasons to sign. Turns out it wasn't 64 million reasons. It was 62.5 or something like that. I don't know. It's been crazy. We don't have a resolution. I'm excited to see where it goes, though.
Absolutely.
However, I do think for now, I think it would be fun to see where we would put Swayman in a goalie tiers list.
Yes, absolutely.
So I got the three of us here to all make some tier lists of all of the starters or starter-ishes in the NHL. We'll go through them tier by tier here, see where everyone lands, really, not just Jeremy Swayman, but everyone. I think it'll be fun.
I love it.
Real quick, though, I just noted as I was kind of going through a couple things just to see if there was any new updates on Swayman before we started this.
Yep.
I didn't realize he has the same agent that has Nylander.
Oh.
And had Johnny Gaudreau during that whole Calgary disaster.
Interesting.
Quite interesting, right?
Very interesting.
Because then...
That's not good.
With the Nylander thing, I remember at a certain point it got to where Nylander didn't know what the GM was actually offering. The agent was withholding it to him, and then as soon as he sat down with the GM, the deal got done in an hour.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's three of the most high profile, messy contracts in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're just playing that hard to get and he's just really good at his job, or if he's doing business for himself,
It's something you got to think about for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
It makes you think.
It do make you think. So we broke this down into, you have what? 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 tiers here.
Yeah.
I added 2 more. I really probably could have only added 1 more, but
actually I have 6 tiers.
Oh, you got 6 tiers.
Yeah, Jay has to scroll.
Jay's also got 6. I've got 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dodged the format a little bit.
I did. But you know what though? So we have an S, A, B, C, right? You'll see it on the screen, but if you're listening, that's how the format is, similar to every other tier system. For me though, I really just tried to separate where I thought the separators were, like between like, okay, I think these guys are that exact class above these guys, and so on and so forth. And I couldn't fit it into 6, so I added a couple more. So Jay also on the mic today,
Howdy.
coming off a bit of a flu day, so
A little bit.
It's his Jordan game.
it's his Jordan game.
Indeed.
We're happy to have you, Jay.
Appreciate y'all.
Who wants to kick this off with their S tier?
I'll go. I'll
Let's hear
jump
it.
off a ledge.
Let's hear it.
I got 5 goalies in my S tier, which feels about right, you know? Like if we're talking like current standings, like where the league shakes out.
Sure.
I got Shesterkin, Sorokin, Ottinger, Hellebuck, and Bobrovsky.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, it's really hard to argue with Hellebuck, Bobrovsky, Shesterkin. I think Ottinger and Sorokin, there's a lot there, but
Yeah, I threw those guys up there because I don't think with their like team situation, I just don't think those teams would thrive without them. I think we would immediately realize how much more valuable they are if they weren't there.
my number 1 tier, nobody else is close for me. Like, I do think that these guys are the ones, and everyone else is below them, and that's simply Hellebuck and Shesterkin.
That's fair.
That's my S tier right there. Jonesy, you got an S tier?
I do have an S tier, and honestly, I'll take it a step further. My only S tier goalie is Shesterkin.
Wow.
Damn.
That guy strikes fear in me. I'm not gonna lie.
He strikes a lot of fear in me, too.
I feel like Shesterkin has to be like one of the only goalies to not have like a bad playoff series. And while like simultaneously just having like every playoff series has been great.
It's true.
I just
So, like, what is that your separator from Hellebuck then?
yeah, like definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because Hellebuck's counting stats regular season are certainly in the ballpark, if not better than Shesterkin's, right?
Yeah.
And he just won a Vezina. So I mean like I wasn't not gonna put him up there.
Of course. No.
That's crazy.
Him and Shesterkin are my 1, too. I mean, their numbers just speak for themselves. Bobrovsky was actually like almost in that conversation for me. But I couldn't find it in me to put him with those two. Sorokin, I think you're going to be very surprised at where I have Sorokin, and it's nowhere near us.
Really?
Not even close. And Ottinger as well. We'll get there.
That's fair. Ottinger was the stretch for me, but I don't know. The more that I looked at all my other goalie, like as the list goes down, it'll kind of make sense where it's kind of like,
Where the cliffs are?
yeah. It's like, okay, I can kind of see where there's the hair being split there. I think my real difference maker was like they can play 60, and if they play 60 for you, you'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was like, it's just a no-brainer. Like it's your security blanket.
Ottinger was a really interesting one for me because as I went through this list and as I started looking into some of the advanced stats for these goalies, Ottinger's advanced numbers are like mid to low end of mid, like 15 to 20 range as a starter over the last 3 years.
Yeah, they're not great. I was looking at that too when I was doing all of the if you're watching like live on the YouTubes,
Yeah.
then you'll see the little thing off to our side over there.
Yeah.
Over there, one side or the other. And yeah, when I was putting those together, I was like, damn, you know?
Yeah.
Your reputation does precede you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, since you kicked it off with the S, how about you followed up with the A?
I got Mr. Vasilevsky.
Yep.
I got Allmark,
Mm-hmm.
Markstrom,
Mm-hmm.
Demko, Binnington, and Anderson.
Freddie Anderson.
Yeah.
I have a hard time arguing with a lot of that. I think that my A list consists of solely UC Saros, Sergei Bobrovsky, and Thatcher Demko. But again, I do have more tiers here.
I was gonna say your tiers
I
like
do
you
have
have more room to like
2 extra tiers here. So I see where you're coming from with those goalies in there.
Yeah, you have room to split more hairs, I guess.
So what do you like why are those goalies in your B tier? Or your A tier, sorry.
I think that they're guys that will have a couple bad games a year, so they're not going to necessarily be someone you can lean on, or they're guys that have glaring injury issues that are clearly going to be an issue moving forward.
Vasilevsky, Demko, kind of in that combo.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
specifically why they didn't make anything more. I think
Mhm.
if Demko had fine knees and was able to play his last 2 seasons fully,
Yep.
it'd be a different conversation. I think
For
he's
sure.
totally has S tier caliber.
Yeah.
I just don't think that it's there with his knees. You can't.
Mhm.
Same with Vasi, and that's really what draws it for me. Allmark, I think he's a fantastic goalie, but he's probably gonna have 5 or 6 absolute cluster Fs of a game
Sure.
where, it doesn't matter what happens, it's just not gonna be good.
Yeah, I agree with you. Allmark I have quite high in my ranking here. We'll get to that, but I do think like I would lock in that Allmark is gonna have an awful season in Ottawa, and Korpisalo is gonna have a phenomenal season in Boston, because that's just the nature of an Ottawa Boston goalie trade. It's just it makes no sense. It makes no sense, but it's what's gonna happen, because that's how these two teams are.
I hate that, and I know you're right, but I built these charts around it not happening.
And hey, even if that happens, I don't think that should necessarily like change where you have the goalie ranking. You know what
I
I'm
was
saying?
gonna say, I think that doesn't really change the weight of the outcome. I tried to base a lot of this like not around the teams they're on, but
Right.
the effectiveness they give that team.
So my S tier was just the top 2 there. And that's my like true S tier, right? Number 1, most elite. And then down from that into my A tier, those 3 goalies again, I'll go Saros, Bobrovsky, Demko, and those are just like the elite tier. Like not the truly best in the world, but like the elite tier is my second tier. So Demko obviously health permitting on that one.
What puts Saros so high for you?
I mean Saros' numbers last year were not eye popping, but they have been pretty much every year outside of that. I mean he's just been a workhorse starter that has never let me down. I don't think and similar kind of to Jonesy with his playoff things. I've never really seen Saros like brutalize a playoff series, even though they don't. It's not like they've had a ton of playoff success.
Yeah.
He's been great every time.
That's fair.
I never worry about UC Saros. That's really what it is. Every other goalie past this list below this has had worrying moments for me, or something. There's something that worries me about them.
Fair. Okay, that's fair.
Jonesy, what's in your next year?
I got honestly, I just want to talk about Saros real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me start. I actually don't have him in A tier.
Okay. Wow, from the man who built his brand around UC Saros.
Indeed.
The fantasy team yet again is named UC It.
I don't know. I feel like Saros' play has honestly kind of dropped every time they get to the playoffs. Not significantly where it's like brutal, but I feel like we haven't seen a great series out of him.
Like a truly like show-stopping series.
Yeah, and and secondly, the 2020 season for Saros was like unreal.
Yeah.
He should have won the Vezina,
He should have.
but Olmark had this Mickey Mouse super team in front of him. Anyways, but honestly, outside of that one season, like I don't think he's consistently been like an A tier goalie. To be honest with you,
I mean, goals saved above expected per 60. He was top 3 2 years ago. I think he was second.
all right,
He's right there.
all right. Well, let me get my A tier though.
Yeah.
I got Bobrovsky,
Mhm.
Hellebuck, Swayman, Vasilevsky, Demko, and I got Sorokin in the A tier.
Wow, we're being generous
Okay.
with the A's.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
A's.
well, I had
Easy
one
A's.
S tier.
Yeah, you did have one S tier. That's true.
I guess
Yeah.
so. Yeah, you were extra stringent there.
I almost want to put Saros in here, considering I have Sorokin,
Mm,
because they're borderline
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah.
However, Sorokin has had some solid playoff success. I feel like so I would give him that bump.
Sorokin's had some dangerous series.
Although Sorokin has been like, he hasn't had the workload that Saros gets
It's true.
ever. You know what? Throw UC in there.
That's
my guy.
I like
That's
it.
my
guy. I like it.
Throw him in there.
All right, we'll throw him in there.
I won't argue they're very similar. That's
UC
pretty,
Saros.
they're pretty parable. I just feel like Sorokin, we would be talking about him differently as well if his team won that series. Like
Sure, but like
he let in 3 to
years
4,
ago.
but he was getting shelled like with like 50 shots a game.
Sorokin, I know that Varlamov is fantastic, but like he lost the job last year,
He did.
and his numbers were awful.
That's true.
Like as much as maybe there's some recency bias coming in there, and I do have him as a bounce back candidate. At least I'm hoping so. I couldn't look at the last calendar year of Ilya Sorokin and put him up there with guys like Bobrovsky, personally.
That's fair. I think you had an injury that just wasn't being reported on, and probably
possible.
still hasn't. Because he looked great at the beginning of the year. Like his stats at the beginning of the year were really good. But
Well,
around
yeah,
that
but-
like quarter / like All-Star mark, he looked like hell.
It
Or
could
not
be
the
injury.
All-Star, the holiday break. Sorry.
Yeah, the Christmas break.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's going on in your BT there?
Yeah. For the B tier, I got Logan Thompson, UC Saros. I got Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen,
The boy.
Kemper, Kochekov, Hill,
Wow. All right.
Gorgiev. I got Fleury,
Wow.
Swayman, Skinner, and
Wow.
Gibson.
Trill, this tier is crazy to me. This is a crazy tier to me, Trill. You got Stuart Skinner, Marc-Andre Fleury, and Jeremy Swayman in the same tier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what is this tier to you?
This tier to me is like goalies that will do fine. You're probably going to make the playoffs with them, but they're not going to get you there single-handedly.
All right, I see that vision.
And they're also like could arguably qualify as the lead role in a tandem with a 1A 1B situation.
Yeah.
Was also my idea here.
Sure.
So like they're the kind of lead guy.
I can't say I fully agree with every decision on there, but I see the thought behind the tier there for sure.
And like yeah, Fleury made the list because like I know he's old. Save it. I get it. But like the experience is there, and like he hasn't really slowed down. He still looks freaking good between the pipes.
I don't know.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
his numbers.
Gustafsson
bueno.
Gustafsson hasn't been able to take that job, and the defense in Minnesota.
That's not because of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Well, yeah, and the defense in Minnesota is like god freaking awful.
That's not a lie.
You could slap Shesterkin in there, and he'd look not that good.
Cap.
I don't think that he'd look that great with that Minnesota team. They were playing up a mountain last year. Everything was rolling downhill.
I agree with that, but no. I'm not in agreement on Fleury there. That might be my biggest outlier. That's all right though. That's
Yeah.
all right.
I think another one of these takes was like if I was putting money on it,
Sure.
would I be comfortable with it, or would I be like A-list is like I'm almost 100% certain that bet's hitting. B's like I'm like 70%, you know?
Right.
And then as we dip to C, that's like my 50-50 where I'm like I'm not gonna place that bet.
This tier and the next tier are your two most full tiers.
It is. I
Interesting.
think that a lot of the league shakes out into this kind of tier.
Sure. Sure. My next tier after that, I'm still in my kind of like elite category here, but I'm in the not quite elite tier. Like I'm in the very, very good starter tier is where we're in right here.
Okay.
So this is Jacob Markstrom, Jordan Binnington, Jake Ottinger, Jeremy Swayman, and Linus Ullmark. Now, Swayman and Ullmark's numbers the last 3 seasons have been phenomenal, right?
Yes.
Like top of the league stuff.
Yes.
However, the split workload is kind of why I have them here, because we don't know what it looks like when they play 50 to 55 games or 60 games.
Yep.
So that's what kept them both in that tier for me. Jake Ottinger's numbers have been middling, to say the least. Jordan Binnington's have been actually a lot better than I thought they were.
But he has really good numbers.
He has fantastic numbers.
The reason he sits so low in my list is just because of his mental game.
Yeah.
He's just such a freaking hothead.
Yeah. I agree. I completely agree.
Like, I would never, like, sue me. If we were doing this list, what, like 25, 30 years ago when Wah was playing,
Sure.
Wah wouldn't make my S tier.
Oh my God, that's a take right there.
I'm never putting someone in my S tier who gives it the hot dog, how do you do, and drops the shit into their own net. Like, I'm sorry. There's just like a professional line I have to draw.
All right, I get that. I get that, actually. I do.
Strictly off principle.
Yeah. And then after that, Markstrom is just people have, I feel like the league has very mixed opinions on Jacob Markstrom as a whole.
He's a polarizing player. He might be the most polarizing goalie.
He's got to be up there in terms of like the perception on him as a goalie. But I've watched him be fantastic in some decent defensive environments, and I've seen him be fantastic in some horrendous defensive environments, namely Calgary at the end of last year after Noah Hanifin and Zadorov and all that were gone, and namely the Canucks in their playoff run in 2020. I mean, that season at least he didn't play in the playoffs, but in that season he was fantastic. I've always thought Jacob Markstrom, as much as he's kind of had some up and down moments, I really do believe in the goalie. I think he belongs in that tier.
Yeah, I agree. I really believe in the goalie too, and I think that the reason why I pushed him a little higher was because a lot of like his years where people have mixed perception. One, he was in the blender that is Canadian hockey.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're not blaming someone, you're blaming, you know, you're going to blame the goalie.
You got to blame someone, yeah.
That's also why I put Freddie Anderson as high as I did, honestly. It was because he's solid. His numbers look great. And, like, the only reason we ever had, like, a bad perception of him was because he was in Toronto. Toronto fans love to complain. If Toronto fans don't complain, the sky would turn red. I'm certain of it.
No, you're very right about that. I mean, Freddie Anderson's numbers still aren't eye-popping when at the adjusted numbers. His raw numbers are good, but he's also been in a really fantastic defensive environment his entire time in Carolina, right?
Yeah, that's also super fair.
Jonesy, what's your B tier look like, and why?
My B tier, it consists of only 3 goalies, actually.
Okay.
Bold.
I got Markstrom, Ottinger, and
Yep.
Binnington here.
How are you going to have such a super loaded A list, but leave Markstrom in the B? Woof.
Markstrom is not an A.
Okay.
That wasn't even.
It wasn't even a consideration.
Markstrom was closer to C. for me, to be honest with you.
Ooh, all right.
Jesus.
Why is that?
I feel like Markstrom kind of flip-flops year by year on being like really, really good and kind of a below average goalie.
Sure.
But I gave him the benefit of the doubt because he was very, very good last year.
Yeah.
And I expect him to be solid. And I like, when I looked at my list of my C tier goalies, I definitely took Markstrom over everyone.
Right. So that's where that gap is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it the other way, I definitely take every A tier goalie before Markstrom in a heartbeat as well.
Okay.
So Markstrom really could almost have his own tier here, to be honest with you.
That's so
we
damn
got
funny.
just the Jacob Markstrom tier. All right.
Honestly, I could buy that too, realistically.
Who did you say else was in it? Binnington and Ottinger?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of convinced me on Onger.
Mm.
He's been, like I said this to you before the pod.
Yeah.
Onger's reputation is really, really being carried by that Calgary series.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's interesting.
It really is, yeah.
But what I will say about Onger is, like, I still trust him. Like, when I watch him in the playoffs last year, I'm not expecting him to like let in a softie.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Yeah, that was where the big split on it was too. Is that like I really didn't feel he was ever gonna let in like something that would decide,
Like
blow the series. Like I've like you know.
right.
Yeah.
So let's go to the C tiers then. Because I mean, actually, I should say it's interesting, Jay. My tier there is the exact same as yours, just plus the 2 Boston goalies. C tier, back to you, Trill, and once again, why?
Yeah, all right. In this tier, I got Wolf, Grubauer, Merzlikins, Lindgren, Jari, Gustafsson, Samsonov, Wool, Riddick, Pickard,
Calvin Pickard, yeah.
Picard, and Talbot. This
Okay.
tier is like they're not my desired choice for a goalie, but I guess they'll work.
Sure, yeah.
But I would never like feel confident playing in them or like playing them in the system unless I was confident in the system around them.
Right. This is like the start of the like you want to upgrade it tier.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This is like you're probably on the wild card fence for playoffs. And that's if
Sure.
you have like a really good season with your like everything else going on.
Yeah.
Like none of these guys are going to carry you to a playoff berth. Period.
I agree. Well, actually, I almost don't because I'd like to get to mine here because I'm still firmly in the good tiers because I have a couple more tiers.
Yes.
And a guy that you had in your C tier, I also have in my C tier, but it's a very different C tier. My C tier consists of goalies that I believe either were elite or have shown me that they are, but not enough yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like-
they're like eclipsing status.
Yeah. So it's 4 goalies. It's Vasilevsky and Sorokin. Both goalies who I believe have it in them to be truly elite,
Yes.
but have also been genuinely not good in recent times.
Yes.
Like not even like middling underperforming, like genuinely pretty bad. Vasilevsky and Sorokin were last year. Blame whatever you want to blame. That's fine. But can be elite.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the other 2 are Aiden Hill and Charlie Lindgren. And for like almost opposite reasons, right? Like Hill and Lindgren have both put up like genuinely fantastic numbers
Oh yeah.
in their time as a starter.
Yeah. Oh, big time. I was really impressed with Lindgren last year.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. Now, we just don't really know enough. Like we have like a season or like what is it, 2 and a bit seasons with Hill?
Yeah, about that, but also like a really, really good playoff run.
Yeah, a cup winning playoff run.
Yeah.
And then Lindgren, I don't think people understand when you look at his expected goals above per 60 last year, he was a top 10 goalie in that regard.
That's incredible. That's still incredible.
That's like up there, like he's right there with Igor Shesterkin and Sergei Bobrovsky. It's not too shabby.
No, that's really quality company, honestly. What, can you go back to that one more time, Jay?
Yeah.
A stat I'm always really enamored with, and it like is a make or break for me,
Mm-hmm.
is the save percent on unblocked shots.
Okay.
It's like it's so close, but it's always just so important.
Charlie Lindgren at 6 on that. Yep.
Yeah, he's saying 6th in save percentage on unblocked shots, which is like really, really dope.
He was in some truly elite company last year.
And that's really remarkable, like when you consider that a lot of these teams or these goalies ahead of him on the list, we got Hellebuck, Allmark, Decord,
Yeah.
and Hill. Those are teams that like play a super strong perimeter defensive game.
Yeah.
Washington was not that last
No,
year. Their defense was dismal. Like it looked
it
terrible.
gave up a lot. They gave up a lot.
They gave a lot of quality shots and chances inside
Yeah.
of the slot
Yeah.
and inside of the dots. Like it's
Yeah, so I mean, Lindgren really impressed me last year, and if Washington's done enough to get themselves into the playoffs, he could be a problem. Similar to Hill, and then Vasilevsky and Sorokin kind of on the other side of that. But that's my can or could be truly elite tier.
And I will say, like, the reason that Lindgren ended up like falling so low for me
Mm-hmm.
into this like C tier is like strictly on experience. He's like probably the goalie I hold at the highest regard here.
Right.
And that's strictly just because I don't have a big enough sample size, and I don't necessarily like believe in him after just like one really great season.
Understandable.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bitter. I drank the Schmied Kool-Aid. It didn't work. We all ended up dead on the carpet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get that. Jonesy, what's your C tier look like and why?
This is my first tier where like I got quite a few names here.
Okay.
And my C tier is really just like solid goalies to me.
Right.
But like I wouldn't say that they're like a clear advantage
Right. Like in a 7-game series or anything.
in a series, in just a head-to-head game.
Sure.
I got Tristan Jarry, Stuart Skinner, Philip Gustafson, Freddie Anderson, Linus Allmark, Logan Thompson, Ukko Luukkonen, the Buffalo dude,
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
that guy,
Mm.
Darcy Kemper,
Mhm.
Pechetkov, Gorgiev, Aiden Hill, and Charlie Lindgren.
Yeah.
So
okay.
a pretty busy tier there.
That is a busy tier. That's like this, just like standard solid starter tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not going to disagree with anything on that tier because it all just makes sense together. Like, there's not a name in that
I
list.
agree with
I'm
that.
not like, that's not like the others.
I like that a bit, quite a bit. I'd like to do my next tier next, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Because my next tier is this tier that, like, that y'all just did.
Ah, okay, yeah. So this will catch you up a little bit.
Yeah, my next tier here is like the just solid starters. Like if you're a team going into this season, you're not like stressing about net, you know? You're
Right.
not like, we have to build our team to make up for goalies, you know?
Yes.
And yeah, that's Pekka Luukkonen. Ukko, what is it?
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Oh, I almost had it. All right. Tristan Jarry right there. Darcy Kemper right there. Injury issues aside, I know that's a little bit scary, but Darcy Kemper's there for me. Connor Ingram's there for me. Quite like him. Cam Talbot, who also had some really good underlying numbers, shockingly, last year.
Blah.
Sam Montembeault, who also had some pretty good numbers last year.
Both of the Montreal goalies, when I was looking at them,
Yeah.
they had great numbers for being on such a dumpster fire
Horrendous
team.
teams. Yeah. I know. Shocking, right?
Yeah, really incredible.
And I have both Carolina goalies in here. I have Anderson and Kochetkov in here, along with Georgiev. Korpisalo, who gets a little bit of a bump now because he is in Boston, and I do think he will be pretty good there. Laurent Brossoit, who had like truly elite numbers last season, but played as like a legitimate low pressure backup.
Yeah.
So we don't know how that's gonna go.
That's why he didn't make any tier list on mine. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
And then John Gibson, who like
Has fallen.
maybe the most overrated goalie in the league.
Absolutely. His stock is tanked like a...
And my boy, genuinely one of my favorite goaltenders in the NHL, because Jonesy, we went to that game. The boy Joey Decord.
Winter Classic legend.
Winter Classic legend Joey Decord.
Who also has really, really good underlying numbers.
Yeah.
But that was also like a big thing about like my lists and where they kind of shook out when I was like looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
I was like, I just can't count backups. That's not fair. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Decord,
especially when we're talking about the Schmied thing.
he played
like,
a lot of games last year.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He actually almost had a split crease. He was the one that made
I
me
think
the most impressed.
More. I think he played almost 50 games.
No.
How many games did Joey Decord play last year?
Because I think Grubauer
50
had, like,
games. Joey Decord on the money.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, 100%. I actually really like that. I like the cluster of them all together. It all makes sense. The only one I'm like kind of iffy on really is Ingram.
That's fair.
I don't really like Ingram. I always feel like he's just swimming.
I don't know what it is. I feel like
I'm not sure if it's the chaos in front of him and the
Mhm.
chaos around him and
Mhm.
just like the instability of that god awful Arizona team,
Yeah.
which is now Utah.
Yeah. Utah.
I'm just there's something about him that just makes me the most like insecure. Like I don't know.
That's fair.
If you told me that I had to like take Connor Ingram,
Right.
I would do everything in my power to not have Connor Ingram as my goalie.
I disagree, but I get what you're saying. Do you want to follow it up with your E tier,
I do.
or I guess your D tier?
I also wanted to highlight really quick.
Sure.
I don't give a damn what Cam Talbot's numbers look like last year because he played on like such a structured LA team. Like, I don't care what anyone's numbers look like if you're playing in front of a trap and a dedicated trap. Like,
Yeah, like raw numbers, sure.
I just like I don't buy it.
That's why we got to look at adjusted stats, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Talbot's a rickety old bitch. You got a word from Jay in the corner.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving
That's
on.
insane beef for Cam Talbot.
I've never liked Cam Talbot.
All right.
Like ever. He's like right up there with Mike Smith as far as like goalies I just detest for no reason.
Yeah.
Moving on to my D tier. This is like my bottom of the barrel for what it's worth. And
Okay.
I'm going to explain this now because it'll make
Yes.
more sense
Yep.
in context.
Yep. Yeah.
I saved the E tier as E for experience, meaning they're super young or they're really fresh to the league, and I haven't seen them play nearly enough. So I don't have a take on them, and I'm not going to jump off on a ledge and tell you how I feel about them. I want to see more.
Okay. Very fair. Very fair. So this is your D tier then, and is your like this is a problem tier.
Yeah, this is my
Wow.
you are in trouble. Look elsewhere.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Actually, and Lion isn't supposed to be on this tier. Actually, Alex Lyon was
Alex Lyon.
supposed to be C tier. I'm sorry,
Okay. We'll throw Alex Lyon up into the C tier right now. Sure.
because I don't really feel comfortable putting Lion in the C tier, but I certainly don't want to put him in the D tier because that's just
Yeah.
disrespectful.
We'll put him in the C minus tier. How about that?
Yeah, we'll put him in the
We'll call it a C minus.
KD tier, the CD tier.
All right.
All right, so D tier, bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Get help and get help quick.
Okay.
We got Dan Vladar,
Yeah.
Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yeah.
Your boy Joey DeCord.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I honestly, I think I don't know what I was doing actually,
I'm
because like
devastated
when
I'm shook to my core about that.
I actually think I had him was reading someone else's stat line when I
All right.
made this chart.
No, you know what? You stand by it. We let you move Lion. You got to stand by the court.
Well, you know what? I would much sooner move DeCord than I would move Lion.
All right. Well, we'll say for the sake of this, we'll say he's also in CD tier.
Yeah, we'll put him in the CD tier.
'Kay.
Mrazek,
Valid.
Brossois,
Yeah. Sure.
he's a backup.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
regardless of how good he is as a backup, I don't know. Kevin Weeks was a sick backup, but when Broder was out for 30 games, he looked like shit. Sue me.
Okay.
Corpusalo, again. I don't care.
Horrific numbers last year.
And I don't care who he's
Horrific.
playing in front of. It doesn't change the fact that he's never shown me anything special, regardless of where he played.
I
He
know what
had
you're
like
saying.
maybe half a year of fleeting brilliance, and that's been his only saving factor for staying in the NHL.
I know what you're saying.
Connor Ingram, we talked about this.
Yep.
Arison
Yeah, from Philly.
and Vanacek.
VTech.
Yeah, my Hibachi King is really fallen.
R.I.P. Yeah. What? Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, I was drinking the Kool-Aid.
I was too. I remember. We sang some VTech praises on this podcast.
We
did.
did.
It. Yep.
And he last year looked so bad.
So bad.
So unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
Regardless of what was going on with New Jersey's defense situation,
Mm-hmm.
That's like zero excuse for the numbers he put up. They were truly bad.
Have you ever seen hockey live? The thrill of being at a live NHL game is unparalleled. We're lucky enough to get out to a game every single year. The Canucks were in the playoffs this year. We ended up going to 2 of those games, and I got to tell you, there's nothing like it. And if you're looking for tickets to a game, GameTime.co has your back. GameTime is fantastic. It's the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. And it's not just sports. GameTime also has lots of options for concerts and shows. The NHL regular season is getting underway tonight, and you can find tickets for the home opener, Vancouver and Calgary, for as low as $56. You fast forward to Friday night's game, you can get them as low as $51 to see your reigning Pacific Division champions. GameTime even has their own picks for you. Their curation makes it even easier to save on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever you like. They even have a feature called all-in pricing on the app that you can toggle on. That shows you the total up front. No surprise fees at the end, no extra stuff tagged on. That's what you pay. GameTime has seat views right inside the app. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy the ticket. That's just fantastic to me. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime picks. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it? GameTime. The quest for the Stanley Cup starts now. The puck's dropping on the 24-25 season. Get in on all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. For me, I'm really looking at those Wednesday night games. Toronto and the Canadiens, a classic matchup there. We got the Jets and the Oilers, the Flames and the Canucks, the Avalanche and the Golden Knights. I mean, there is heaters left, right, and center. You can get the Jets right now for plus 140. Do you know how many points the Winnipeg Jets had last year? They were flying. Now, hey, don't get me wrong, the Oilers are a fantastic team, but hey, there's a lot of good lines here. I'm excited to take a look at it. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
Yeah, I'll get mine in.
All right, let's get it.
My D tier is kind of like a guy, like a solid 1B, where like if this guy plays 35 games, I think he can put up some decent results.
Okay.
But I think that's where his ceiling is capped off. I got Philip Grubauer, Ville Husso, Elvis Merzlikins,
The boy.
Joseph Wall, Cam Talbot, Lyon, Joey Decord, Peter Mrazek, Connor Ingram, Lauren Brossoit, Montembeau, and Lucas Dostal, which I'm actually much higher on than y'all two. We'll get to that.
You are. That's very true.
Like I said, I feel like you get like 30, 35 quality games out of those guys.
Right.
That's about it.
That's like kind of similar to my E tier. My E tier I made in mind being the like, okay, now you have to plan for your goalie. You know what I mean? Either you're if you want to make a deep run, you're upgrading it, or you are like game planning your defense around the fact that you have to be a good defensive team.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so that tier for me is David Riddick, Mackenzie Blackwood, Alex Lyon, Peter Mrazek, Joseph Wall, Philip Grubauer, and Stuart Skinner.
Stu
is low on my list, and I like to think the analytics back this up. I know he just went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. He has not once in his career posted high caliber numbers.
His
And
numbers last year weren't terrible, though.
that doesn't mean they were good.
They weren't that bad, though.
Hit me with that.
First 60.
Per 60, goals saved above expected. This is a stat that I'm a big fan of. Where do we find Stuart Skinner? Tell me where he's at. How low will we go until we find the man named Stuart Skinner? Okay, we're passing Capo Kakinen.
Jesus.
23rd.
Really?
We're right there with Capo Kakinen, Peter Mrazek. I do see Jake Ottinger in there. Tough season for him. But yeah, not good. Truly not good. 23rd. That's bottom of the barrel starter almost, right? That's bottom third of the league.
Yeah, what was his goal against average?
I was going to pull up his playoff numbers as well.
Yeah.
Per 60.
Again,
the
per 60
playoffs.
In the playoffs.
13th.
13th.
Actually better than I thought.
Again, though, back half of the playoff teams. Now, if you scroll to the side on that, you can find the I guess you need to find the regular. Go to the regular season one to find the raw numbers. Yeah. Yeah, do some scrolling because it's going to take you a while, like I said.
23rd.
905.
905.
Again,
Not that good.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought he had a 920.
I really do think, as much as I know he just went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, Stuart Skinner is, to me, like one of those things where when I look at the Oilers, and I don't know why, I know because he went to Game 7, but that narrative for me hasn't disappeared. Nothing that happened last year erased that narrative, which was the narrative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I think he belongs firmly in this year.
I mean, I talked
I'm happy he's there.
a lot of trash about the Edmonton goalie situation last
Yeah.
year. I actually don't know what empowered me to move Stuart Skinner so high in retrospect.
Both y'all, I'm devastated.
I don't know. I believe in him, though.
don't.
That sounds weird,
I do not.
but I did also build this list a little bit on vibes.
Of course, I get that.
I'll come to Stu's defense.
Let's hear it.
First of all, he did play 59 games.
Did play a lot of games.
That is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say. But I really do
It
think
is a defense, though.
when I look at my C tier, I don't think Stuart Skinner like we don't have a graphic up, so we can't easily do this.
But he doesn't stand out.
It's not like
That's
exactly.
fine. Trey, let's go to your E tier first because you said you have a thing for it. It's
E for experience.
you don't have an opinion.
I just don't have an opinion. / I just want to see more first. We got Shelovs, Primo,
Yeah.
Montembolt,
Good boy.
Fedotov, Levi,
Yeah.
Dostal, Tarasov, and Stolers.
Yeah.
All just guys that they're either super new to the league and have like a really great reputation and draft stock, or have like really, really great limited numbers.
Sure.
But I just need to see more. I don't want to pass judgment on any of these guys yet.
That's totally fair. I don't even have much to add on to that because I just think that's actually a very balanced take from you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried after having so many steep takes in the first 4 categories. I was like, let's be passive for this.
Yeah. Jonesy, what's in your next tier and why?
It is my final tier. It's the F tier. I don't think these are bad goalies. Well, I think they're backups, but I don't think it's the end of the world that these are backups.
Okay.
I got Dustin Wolf, very young.
Yeah.
I'll just get the 2 young guys out of the way. I also have Devin Levy in here.
Yeah.
That's a guy that I almost don't like having him here because I feel like he can be better than an F tier goalie, but those 2 do lead it off. Followed by Samsonov, David Riddick, John Gibson, Dan Vladar, Mackenzie Blackwood, Korpisalo, Vanacek, Urson, Seelovs, Calvin Pickard, Alex Nedeljkovic, and Anthony Stolars.
Right.
Like I said, I feel like these are just they're all right backup goalies.
Right. Yeah.
It's a long list.
It's a long list.
What's also crazy
I
is
agree with it.
half of that list is goalies that are arguably playing in tandem situations this year, like 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be, but
It-
are.
That's why there's so many goalies in this tier list.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how many teams, instead of going, we have a goalie issue, let's go out and get one good goalie, just went out and got another equally as bad goalie.
It's a copycat league, and the Vegas Golden Knights really set a trend.
Did they ever?
But I think you need more than 2. That's the thing, right? Vegas went through like 4 that year.
Yeah, just to land on 2.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have a revolving door for a while.
I don't mind it in some cases.
Real quick though.
Yeah.
Do y'all realize anyone that didn't make my list?
Who's not there?
A certain Smith that resides in Dallas.
Wow.
Anyways, onto your list, Tiko.
We got a lot of beef with Smiths. Casey DeSmith, Brendan Smith, Riley Smith.
What's
It's a whole lot of Smiths.
Did I even put DeSmith on my list? I don't think he's on here either.
He's not a starter. He does not belong on this list.
Yeah, I don't even think I put him on this, like, in consideration. And I put a couple backups in consideration. I mean, Brossois on this list, but, like...
Jay just wanted to get his beef off.
I did.
I see.
I actually think the craziest goalie that you included,
Yeah.
in my opinion, Caden Premu. That's just me.
Yeah, great numbers
mean,
last year.
He did play a decent amount of games last year, I think.
And he had, like, an over 900 or just under.
My next tier is the not a starter tier. I just don't think any of these guys can be a starting goaltender at this time, or like should be relied on as a number 1, I should say, out the gate. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Again, some of that comes down to youth, right? So it starts off with Wolf and Ersson. Again, just because like we just don't know enough yet to say like these guys can be for sure a starter in this league.
Especially when their teams are so turbulent last year. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Samsonov, I don't think can be a starter in the National Hockey League.
I agree.
Gustafsson, I don't think is a starter in this league.
I sadly agree.
Along with his running mate, Marc-Andre Fleury,
I disagree.
I think can no longer be a starter in this league.
Wow.
And I love Marc-Andre Fleury dearly. First ballot Hall of Fame, potentially a top 10 goalie of all time. However, you cannot have Marc-Andre Fleury as your starter in 2024.
Yeah, but I'm not copping that he's worse than, like, Joseph Wall
I'd
or
rather have Wall.
Mackenzie Blackwood. You'd rather Mackenzie Blackwood than Marc-Andre Fleury? That's crazy.
If I need a lot of games, yeah. If I need starters worth games, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The only reason that they put him in net in San Jose was because he was the only one dumb enough to sign up for a firing squad every night.
He played.
That's all you can say about him is he played. Like, you may as well have just said he's, like...
His numbers weren't horrendous last year. Adjusted, that is. His numbers were terrible, don't get me wrong, but San Jose was horrendous.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, they were terrible.
And then my next tier, my final tier, is stay away from my team plus Dostal.
Why plus Dostal?
Okay,
what did Dostal do?
Dostal, actually, he belonged in the F tier. I don't think I meant to put him in the G tier because he belongs with Ersson and Wolf for me. Of like, I don't think you can rely on it yet because I don't know enough.
That's fair.
But really, it's Vladar, Vanacek, Elvis Merzlikins. Sorry. I know we've had lots of discourse through the years about Elvis Merzlikins. I don't think he has it.
Why not?
I haven't seen it one time.
Yeah. But that's the Jackets.
Adjusted doesn't help.
Everyone looks terrible in the Jackets.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But we've only seen him as a Blue Jacket. So I only know him as that.
That's fair. I'm not going to argue it. I get it.
And that concludes the goalie tiers. That's a whole lot of tiers. I like it. I thought we were going to turn that into like 20 minutes. I think we turned that into an hour.
We did. That was a long segment.
Yeah, that's fun though.
It was fun. That was great. I mean, I'm glad it took us that long because I'm not going to lie. It took me like 6+ hours to get all these assets together.
It's a long time.
It was a 2-day ordeal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Appreciate your effort.
Got you.
Last up, let's do a blind ranking. We're going to start doing these. Jonesy has a bunch of blind rankings for us. So we'll do one of them right now Josie's gonna give us 5 different NHL logos, and we're gonna blind rank best to worst.
Yes,
1
sir.
being the best, 5th being the worst logo.
Okay, I like it.
We're going to start off with the new Anaheim Ducks logo.
Oh, wait, quick! Are we just doing current logos, or is this all time? All current.
Okay.
The new Anaheim Ducks logo. That's a great first one here.
2.
You like it in the 2 category? You have some above it.
I feel like there's something that could beat it, but not much.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with putting it in 2. Yeah.
It's classic. It's intimidating. It's mean. It's hockey themed, and it's what everyone asked for to happen in like forever.
All right. Well, we're confirmed answer. We're gonna plant the new Anaheim Ducks logo in the 2 spot.
Up next, I got the Winnipeg Jets logo.
The current one,
Indeed.
5.
5.
That thing is ass.
Awful logo.
Awful.
Garbage. I wanted the Jets to fold again as soon as I found out that they weren't using the vintage logo. It's like, why bother? Why bother?
5. Put it in 5.
Like, it looks like a curling club.
It looks like a Legion logo.
That's what the idea behind it. They did it to pay tribute to the armed forces because there's like a massive like military base in Winnipeg for the Canadian Air Force.
Sure.
Which is why the Winnipeg Jets was a thing in the first place. So then
Sure.
they militarized the logo for some reason because that's what we needed.
5.
5.
What's next?
Third logo we got here, the Minnesota Wild.
Minnesota Wild logo is an intriguing one because there's actually a lot that I like about the logo. Besides, I'm not huge on the colors, but I like the head. I like the sunset. I like trees. It's kind of menacing. It's kind of Minnesotan. I dig the logo, but it's not one of my favorite logos.
I feel you, and I agree entirely. I think it's a solid 3. I love so much about this like logo itself.
Yeah.
There's some touches you missed on that are my favorite pieces actually. One is the mouth being the stream or the river.
Yeah.
Which flows through Minnesota. I forget which one it is, but it's pretty relevant.
Sure.
And the star, which is the eye, which is relevant, paying homage to the North Stars, which moved to Minnesota.
Right.
So I think that it's like a really, really well done, tasteful, clever logo.
They've stuck with it for a long time, and I have a hard time thinking they could like change it and make it better. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm with you. I like a 3 spot for it. So we leave like a mid tier open in 4, and then the 1 spot still is waiting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a gamble because like we might get nothing on the 1.
Sure.
That could be pain. Maybe Jay's like completely like.
I'm not just real quick. I'm very interested to see how Jonesy plays this because I want to see how evil you are, Jay.
I will say I actually love the Minnesota logo in the smaller jersey. Okay?
I'm not a huge fan of the whole like. It just gives me practice jersey vibes when they do the logo inside the circle with the word mark. The only time I really loved it was the baby blue Penguins.
That's fair. I think for some teams it works. I think this team with the cream, it looks really nice.
Sure.
But yeah, I can definitely get the practice jersey vibes.
It's really crazy to me that it's actually been their logo the entire time.
Yeah.
They haven't changed it. I didn't realize that until now.
No need to.
It's commitment.
Yeah.
It's a great logo.
Fourth logo here.
Yeah.
We got the Detroit Red Wings.
Mm-hmm. This is a difficult one. Jackson, get Jack on the phone.
I'm gonna go.
The 1 and the 4 open.
It's hard not to put it in 1.
I have to. I actually really like this jersey. Fun backstory is I was a fan of 3 teams growing up before I was told I had to pick one. That was the Buffalo Sabres,
Mm-hmm.
the Detroit Red Wings,
Mhm.
and the New Jersey Devils. Why? I just thought all the logos were sick.
Thank God you did not pick Buffalo.
I know, right? How lucky.
Thank the Lord up above.
I know. Yeah, but I did really love that classic Sabres logo with the yellow and the...
I've never once liked a Detroit jersey in my life.
Really?
I know it's a shocking take.
That
Well, actually, that's cap. I did love some of the Winter Classic jerseys. I think that their home jersey in particular is the most boring jersey ever because it's literally just straight red. However, the logo is phenomenal.
What's crazy is
The wheel, the wings. Yeah.
I hate their Winter Classic jerseys. I haven't liked a single Winter Classic jersey they've had. I think they're all
Really?
garbage. They're ugly.
I
Wow.
love that jersey.
Yeah, me too. The 2016 or is it 2014?
2014.
2014 Winter Classic jersey is absolutely beautiful.
I don't like it.
I wish I had one.
The
actually.
feathers on the wing or the wheel, it's just too chunky. Is my biggest issue.
I love it, and I didn't mind the ones with the big D on them either.
Hey yo,
Hey yo.
onk.
Yeah, I think one is the place for the Detroit Red Wings logo. We got
It's a classic original 6 logo, and it's gorgeous,
And it's
especially
gorgeous.
on those away jerseys. Like,
Yeah, that has to be a lock.
I'm gonna say that I think y'all made the right choice because in our 5th logo, we got the New York Islanders.
So which automatically falls into the 4 spot, correct?
Indeed.
that feels right.
Above the Jets logo. I think I'm gonna go out on a limb here. We may have nailed this list.
I think if I had all these like in front of me and it wasn't blind, I would still I would lay this out. Yeah,
Perfect.
I think that's perfect.
So that puts us at 1 Detroit, 2 Anaheim, 3 Minnesota, 4 the Islanders, 5 the Jets. I like it.
Same. I actually really love it.
That was fun, Jay.
Thank you for setting
Word.
that up. That was really dope.
We got
I
got
think-
different ones.
I think I'm
coming.
gonna get more devious moving forward. I
I
just kind of I wanted to hear the opinions on some of these logos.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
should say, like, the Islanders logo, I've never really been huge on. I should give a little bit of a take on the Islanders one at
Yeah,
least.
we kind of grazed over it.
Hmm. I've never been huge on it. I don't, like, dislike it. It's got the island, but that's, like, really it. It's kind of just a word mark in a circle. I don't know.
I think it's just so goddamn ugly how the Islanders, like the text,
Hmm.
the top of the eye changes colors so that you can see it in the Island logo.
Yeah.
Like, that's so
Not a fan.
ugly and terrible.
Bring back
And
the
the-
fisherman.
The big thick N into like the sideways Y with the stick, it just looks
hockey
like it looks like two fonts that don't agree being forced next to each other.
Sure.
And I mean the colors are terrible in the first place as well.
Yeah. I think it's got, like, a classic look to it that does put it above the Jets one for me.
Yep.
But bring back the fisherman. Oh, dude, the fisherman baller.
The fisherman is baller.
I got a little bit of a take.
Yeah.
That is actually maybe my favorite Islanders jersey, and I don't know why. Just like the reverse retro, the navy blue.
The darker blue one.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
The darker blue makes that jersey so much better.
The part of the reason I actually don't like the New York logo or jerseys is the blue and the orange they use. I
Yeah.
think it is so close to being dope, but it's terrible. I also really love those the Barzell jersey we're looking at down there, without the framing of it when it's just the N and the Y with the hockey
no,
stick.
dude, no.
Nah, that's
Yeah.
Do you
horrendous.
do you remember when they played a game? Forget what the occasion was, but they had these blacked out jerseys and they were freaking sick.
No, those were not sick.
Those, yeah,
The, like
Not sick.
the Nets ones.
yeah, dog. I like those.
That might just be your New Jerseyness talking. As
I
a
just want a black
as a
jersey.
jersey.
Why did the
jersey.
Islanders get a black jersey before the Devils? We need to talk about this. I'm freaking upset.
I think you need to like start writing some emails to some people that
Dear Gary, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling.
Maybe not to Gary Bettman himself, but someone in the Devils organization.
You can have my rent money, my bill money, hell, my wallet.
Real quick, just before we finish up here, I wanted to ask you: do you have a baseball team that you want to see win in the playoffs?
I don't even know who's in the playoffs.
Really?
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you the teams.
Okay.
You pick a winner.
Sick.
All right, we got the Dodgers. We've got the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah.
We've got the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, right. Yeah, they had to change their name. It's
That's
like,
right.
Who the
the New York Mets, the New York Yankees, Kansas City Royals, Philadelphia Phillies, the Padres. Is that all? That's 8 teams. That's all.
Who was after the Dodgers? Got the Dodgers.
Tigers, Detroit. That's who I'm rooting for. Underdog, pick Detroit. Jonesy's also on Team Detroit.
I really hope that sticks for you. Like, I hope the Tigers do something special.
It's happening right now.
They already shoved the Astros out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I knew that.
It was a huge upset.
The only thing I follow in baseball is actively hating the Astros.
Hey, you
Join.
won your World Series already.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm glad they ran out of trash cans and lost that series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna cop Detroit just from the magic that they had getting in the wild card in the last game, beating the stinky Astros.
One of my bro who is like a real Tigers fan told me there was no space on the bandwagon, and too damn bad, brother. I found my spot, and I'm bringing more people.
I'd do it.
He
Sorry.
found a seat.
I found a seat.
I'll stand.
All right, that's about it. Jonesy, I want to get to our question another week because
All right.
we ended up turning that into like over an hour.
Yeah, we made
Yeah.
some good runtime out of just talking about goalies. I'm pretty impressed with us.
Yeah. Regular season. When the day this comes out, regular season will be starting. We'll have 3 games on that day. We'll have a bunch of games the next day. Let's go! It's finally back.
I'm so fucking stoked.
Yeah. So after the next episode, we will be in full swing of the hockey season. I cannot wait.
God, October's here.
October's here. Thank y'all for coming out once again, listening once again, playing us in your ears, playing us in your homes, wherever you are. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in. From all of us here at Stick Talk, we really appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like, that download, that subscribe. All of it really helps. If you hear anything in the ad rolls that you like, please make sure to go and use that and use the code provided. It really, really does help us with getting extra sponsors and a bunch of really cool things going on, which will help the funding. And as you can tell just from the video and how much we've progressed just from last year, it'll just keep going up. So
That's right.
we wouldn't be here without you. And I know it's a little bit, insensitive to ask for a little bit more after wasting damn near an hour and a half of your time on goalies, but we would love that, and it would mean the world to us.
That's right.
And thank you for being on this journey with us too.
We appreciate it lots. As always, I'm Tiko Raspy.
I'm yours, Trilly.
Big J.
Big J in the house.
Sure.
Keep your dang head up.
Keep your head up.
Boom.
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 Stick talk. 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 Stick talk.
Can we please make We Got Lines merch?
We got lines
We got lines.
for our head listeners.
We got lines.
uh,
Jesus. Off to a blazing start at.
Jonesy, can you confirm we do have lines?
Yeah, we do.
All right, we do have lines.
Let's go.
The audio.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
And